We are here for your weekly video. Let's go ahead and get started. Get your space together, lay out your mat, and then come into an all fours position. Here we're going to find some deep connecting breaths to start. So as you find this position, just a nice deep inhale through the nose and an exhale out through the mouth. And as you do this, letting your inhale expand the ribs in all directions, out to the sides, into the back of the body, into the belly. And let your exhales draw everything in close towards your midline and your navel. Inhale, expanding out. And exhale, drawing in. Continuing these connecting breaths, a few more, really thinking about the pelvic floor here, how the diaphragm and the pelvic floor work together. On your inhale, you're letting your ribs expand, you're letting your pelvic floor soften and drop, expanding. And then on your exhale, you're allowing your ribs to draw in. You're feeling your pelvic floor start to lift in and up. And then you're relaxing back into the inhale, letting it soften and fall back down. And as you continue to connect with your breath here, we're going to be adding in a gentle cat-cow. Think of it being less than half of your normal cat-cow. Deep inhale here, starting to gently drop the belly, thinking of expanding the ribs and lengthening out the chest forward. Exhale as you tuck the tail, rounding the spine, pushing the floor away from you, and allowing your head to drop heavy. Inhale, dropping the belly, hips reach back, chest reaches forward, connecting to your breath, to the diaphragm, to the pelvic floor. Exhale, rounding the spine, pelvic floor draws in and up, diaphragm tightens. And inhale, expanding, lengthening, opening the chest. Continuing your flow here just a little bit longer, connecting your breath, your body, and your spine. And as you fall back into your inhale, and then find back a neutral position, hands are underneath you, toes tuck under you, lift your knees and find a downward dog position. Starting to pedal out your feet, relaxing your head and your neck, and taking deep, expansive breaths, hips reaching back and up. One heel pressing to the floor and then the other, pedaling out those feet. Stretching out through the calves, the hamstrings, the bottoms of the feet. And then slowly bringing the knees right back down. Once you have the knees down, we're going to turn to lie on your back. If you have a pillow nearby and you want it to be underneath your head, you're welcome to grab that and place that under now. Just make sure it's not a pillow that's too big or it's a blanket that's folded just a few times. From here, we're starting with our knees bent, feet planted on the floor, and your spine nice and flat. That cat-cow we did, we're going to reverse here, becoming aware of where our spine is sitting. Take a nice deep inhale, thinking of your pubic bone tilting down and creating a gentle gap between your lower back and the mat. Whenever I'm in this position, I like to think about a water glass resting right on my pubic bone, that water glass trying to spill between my legs. And then on your exhale, you're going to tilt the opposite direction as if you're trying to spill that water glass into your belly button. Inhale, try to spill that water glass into your pubic bone or between your legs. Exhale, gently try to tilt that water glass so it's spilling just a few drips into the belly button. So what we're doing here is we're gently rounding and arching the spine, going from dorsiflexion going from flexion of the spine into extension of the spine. And as you work and as you breathe, noticing also your diaphragm and your pelvic floor, everything in the core working together. Again, using those connecting breaths here. And when you're doing this, if you've ever thought about your pelvic floor lifting and you're not sure what to think about, imagine you've got a little bit of a paper towel stuck down between your legs down there, and you're trying to almost lift that paper towel up between the legs. That's going to be that exhale sensation, that lifting feeling, and then inhale to soften, lengthen, and allow that pelvic floor to expand. Continuing a last few breaths here. And then, speaking of that water glass, I want you to imagine that we're trying to bring that water glass that's resting on your pubic bone to be in a flat and level position. So we don't want it spilling between your legs, and we don't want it spilling into your belly button. And once you've found that flat position, bring your hands down to the floor by your sides. Inhale, and you're just going to feel stable, strong in your spine. Exhale, bring one leg up to tabletop. Inhale, lower it down slow and steady. Exhale, bring it up to tabletop. Inhale, lower it slow and steady. And as you do this, our goal is that you're keeping your spine as still as possible from your hips up through your shoulders. You're still feeling that bracing sensation of your core and your connecting breaths. You're inhaling to lower the leg. You're exhaling to bring it back up. Now, as long as you feel like you're not shifting at all through the hips, you're keeping that connection through the core, we're going to add on by lifting your head and your neck. On your next exhale, pause and lift your head, your neck, and your shoulders up. And now I want you to watch your hips. Exhale, bring one leg up to tabletop. Inhale, lower it down. Exhale, other leg up to tabletop. And inhale to lower. Now what you're looking for is that as you bring this leg up, you're not allowing your stomach to push up towards the ceiling or dome up towards the ceiling here. We're keeping it drawing in and down into that space below us. One more each leg. And then rest your head, your neck, and your shoulders down. And with your head down, I just want you to start to gently turn your head from side to side, looking all the way to the left, and then all the way to the right. From here, keep your left leg where it is. Bring your right leg up to tabletop. Still connecting to those core muscles, we're going to start to extend that heel up to the ceiling, and then inhale to bend your knee. So we're actively working through the quad, engaging your quad so that way your leg extends up and your heel reaches for the ceiling. Now, when we do this, it's going to be an active hamstring stretch. So don't worry if it doesn't go all the way up towards the ceiling. It's okay if it's out to the side. Just work for the engagement on the front of the leg until you feel that tightness on the back of the leg. Keeping the hips Nice and stable. You can go hands to hips or hands to the floor. One more time, reach that heel up to the ceiling and hold. With a little bend in the knee, I want you to start to twist that leg internally and externally. If your kneecap was a flashlight, I want you to twist that flashlight from side to side, shining it from the left shoulder to the outside of the right shoulder. The more you bend that knee, the slightly easier it will be on the hip flexor. The leg won't feel as heavy. Come back to center and rest all the way down, just noticing how tired the front of the leg is here. Rock the knees a little bit from side to side. And now we're going to do a split squat stance bridge. Split stance bridge. What I want is your right foot to come a little bit closer to your butt, your left foot to be a little bit further away from your butt. And you're pushing through both feet. Press down, drive your hips up towards the ceiling, and then inhale, bring your hips right back down. Exhale, drive your hips up towards the ceiling, and then inhale to bring them right back down. Now, as you do this, I want you to think of how both feet are pressing down heavily into the floor. And I want you to imagine you're trying to touch your butt cheeks to the back of your calves. So as you lift up, you're trying to take your butt towards your calf muscles. And then as you lower down, you're trying to take your butt cheeks towards your heels. Lift up, butt towards calves. Inhale the lower. Exhale, lift up, butt towards calves. And as you inhale, think butt towards heels. Notice how this creates a little bit of length throughout the lower body. Giving yourself a few more, now starting to focus on really pressing up to stretch out the front of the hip. So you're squeezing the bottom of your glute as much as you can, and then you're lowering back down. Pushing through the feet, pressing up, using the glutes, activating the glutes to help stretch the front of the hip, and then lower down. Let's do one more time here. Bring it up and hold. Your butt is trying to get closer to your calves. Your hips are lifting as high as they can when you squeeze your lower glutes. And then you're going to bring the hips all the way down. And we're going to do the other side. Restabilize the lower back. Set up your feet and bring your left leg this time up to tabletop. Hands can be down by your sides or up on your hips. From here, we're starting with that nice deep inhale. Exhale, flex your heels up to the ceiling. And inhale to bring it back down. Activating the quad. And then bending it back down. Continuing to work here through that leg, engaging the front side and lengthening out the back side. Inhale, filling up the whole midsection of the body, keeping everything nice and stable. Exhaling, feeling everything engage and tighten. Really reach through the leg. Just a few more. Extend it up and hold it there. Now you can keep it straight or find just a partial bend. Start to twist that leg. You're turning that knee or twisting the leg inside to side. If your knee were a flashlight, You're trying to shine that kneecap towards the right shoulder and then shine that kneecap to the outside of the left shoulder. Twisting that femur like you would twist a Q-tip in your ear. Deep breaths while you're doing this. Extending the heel up a little bit higher. Last 3, 2, and 1. Rest it all the way down. Once that leg is down, let's do your staggered bridge. Bring your left heel a little bit closer to your butt. Take your right foot a little bit further from your butt. And now we're kind of becoming up into that bridge. So hands by your sides. Pressing into the floor with your feet, you drive your hips up towards the ceiling a few inches. And then you bring them right back down. Pushing down through your feet. Exhale, drive your hips up. And inhale to bring them back down. Let it be nice and slow. Controlled in both directions. You're heavy through your feet. You're reminding yourself of that funny cue of your butt trying to get towards your heels as you lower down, and of your hips or your glutes trying to come up and touch the back of your calves as you lift. This is helping to create a little bit of engagement in the hamstrings and the lower glutes here. As you breathe, your exhale brings you up. Your inhale brings you down. Keeping those arms energized down into the floor, the back of the neck nice and long. And finishing by really focusing on that upper range. As long as everything is comfortable, squeezing the lower glutes, driving those hips high, squeezing as much as you can to engage and it's to stretch the front of the hip, and then inhale to lower back down. Exhale, lifting up as if you're dragging the glutes up that calf and then down that calf towards the heel. Squeezing that lower glute at the top. Giving yourself just a few more here. And one more time. Exhaling to bring it up and hold. Both feet are pressing down heavily. Your glute is trying to get towards the back of that calf. Deep breaths here. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze for 3, 2, and 1. Lower the hips all the way down. Bring both knees into your chest here. Hands to your shins, and we're going to rock the lower back. So bring the knees in a little bit. Lower back comes off the mat, and rock the knees back down. Exhale, curling the knees in and rocking them back out. One more time. Rock them out a little bit, but leave them there. They're tight together, that you're lifting your feet up away from your glutes now so that they're in more of a tabletop position, and bring your hands down by your sides. Keep your legs nice and close and start to draw a circle with your knees. The knees come in a little bit towards one shoulder, across the body, away a little bit towards the opposite shoulder, and back in. This will feel just like you're giving yourself a little lower back massage using the floor and the weight of your legs. Your inhale lets the legs fall away from you. Your exhale helps return the legs into the chest and across the body. Now, as you do this, it's not about the size of your circle. I want you to really slow down and think about the connection you're making in your core. You exhale, feeling the ribs knit down, the legs pull in and across, and lower slowly away from you. Feeling how all of your abdominal muscles are sharing the work of making this circle happen. On your next exhale, we bring the legs in and we reverse the direction. They drop away. Exhale, return them to the chest. Inhale, they slowly lower. Noticing that the legs might be starting to feel a little bit tired here. The core might be feeling a little tired, but still focusing on the smoothness of that circle. Feeling the heaviness of the spine and the ribs underneath you. Squeezing those inner thighs together. Your last circle, the slowest one yet. And then rest your feet all the way down. Once your feet are here on the floor, we're going to be starting by taking your left arm and crossing it across your chest. Your feet are down and planted on the floor about hips width, and your right arm is hovering off of the floor. Inhale to prepare. On your exhale, tuck your chin to your chest, curling the body up as if you're trying to tuck that left arm into your side, and then slowly lower back down. This is where we're working here to start our core work. Exhale, curling forward, pull that left arm tight into your side, and inhale to lower. Keep working just like that. Exhale, curl up, and inhale, lower. Now, as you continue to do this, you're going to notice that you're favoring one side just a little bit. As you keep that left arm tucked, that left side becomes a little bit more compact. We're going to be using that left side, curling up to hold here on this next exhale. Curling up, tucking that left arm in nice and tight, and holding it here. We're going to side bend a little to the left, and then exhale. Can your right fingertips try to touch your heel on the right? Inhale back to the left, tuck in that arm, and then bring it to the right. You're staying curled up. Let's go for 2 more. Flex a little and flex a little. Going from side to side, keeping your core drawn in tight and compact. Come back to the left, back to center. Exhale to pull everything in, and inhale to lower back down. Now we're going to start with some arm circles. Fingertips to your shoulders. Reach your elbows up and overhead. Big inhale to stretch up. And then circle those arms out to the sides, down and around. Keep those circles going for me, just like that. If there's any discomfort, just make smaller circles, the smaller range of motion that is comfortable, bringing a little bit of motion to the joint. Wherever you are, let's reverse the direction. If it's comfortable, let's do one big overhead stretch. Inhale to reach the arms up and overhead. Lengthen out as far as you can. And then bring it all the way back. Once you have everything back, we're going to go right arm folded across the body, left arm reaching straight forward and hovering. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, tilt your chin to your chest, lift your head, your neck, and your shoulder blades up and off of the floor. And then inhale to lower back down. And as you curl up, you're checking in with your core, pulling everything in tight like we've just saran wrapped your midsection. Your exhale is bringing you up off of the floor. Your inhale is bringing you back down. Continuing here with your breath. Exhaling to come up. And inflating to lower. As you exhale, think of deflating your entire midsection, keeping the pelvis nice and stable, tucking that right arm in tight to the side of the body. Feeling that right arm magnetize as if it's pulling its way in tighter and tighter to your center line. And one more here. Exhale and bring it up and hold it. That right arm is tucked in tight. Feel it bend you a little to the right. And then you side bend a little to the left. Exhale. Back to center. Tuck in that right arm. And back to center. Reach for that left foot. Continuing to alternate from side to side. Keep the connection with the front of the body. Resting if you need to, because the connection is more important than staying up the whole time. One more from side to side here, using that exhale to draw everything in nice and tight. And then resting all the way back down. Now, once you're down, we're going to go arms to a field goal if it's comfortable. If that's not comfortable, arms out to a T. And if that's still not it, arms down by your hips. Wherever you are, I want you to look towards one hand. Slowly come back to center. And then look towards the other hand. And back to center. No matter where your hand is placed. Pardon me. Continuing to just gently look from side to side. Coming back into center, we're going to turn so that your left hip is on the floor and your left elbow is underneath your body. So coming into a side position, if being up on your elbow isn't comfortable on your shoulder, then I want you to lie all the way down or grab that pillow from earlier and rest it under your head, so that way you're not putting any strain on that shoulder or on the neck. But if it's comfortable, you're up on the elbow, you're reaching your right leg out as far as you can, and you're pushing down through your left arm. Once you're here, we're going to be lifting that right leg up to hover, and then just resting it down. Now, as you lift and lower this leg, you'll notice that your body is going to want to dip into the floor. We're going to avoid this as much as possible, keeping strong through that left side as you lift this right leg. So this right leg will be limited because of how stable the trunk of your body is. If your neck is getting tired, you can always look down at that left elbow. Now, wherever you are, we're going to be lifting this leg up and holding it hovering in the air. Point and flex your ankle, pointing like a ballerina would reach the toes away and flexing the foot strong. Continue to point and flex, but I want you to start to pull that right leg 2 to 3 inches behind your body. Point and flex that ankle. Your right hand is down on the mat. Your shoulders are slightly squared off towards the floor, and your hips are stacked or falling forward. Good. Find a pointed toe and hold. Really reach that leg long, and now pulse that right leg up to the sky and up, up and lift. Lift. Keep your body strong. Keep your breath deep. leg behind you for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Rest it down for just a moment. Wiggle out whatever needs to be wiggled out. And now we're going to change it up just a little bit. Both legs are stacked. We want you to be thinking of opening up your hips and your chest as much as you can. Push down through both arms. Press down through your legs as you lift your hips up off of the mat. And then take your hips right back down. Do that with me again. Lift your hips up off the mat. And then bring your hips back down. Now our right hand is down for now for a little added support, just in case that left shoulder isn't comfortable. If the left shoulder is comfortable, we're going to be taking right hand to the hips. Lift up and lower down. Nice and slow in both directions, demonstrating control. And as you do this, if you want to add on with a little bit more, the next time you lift up through those hips, you're going to lift right leg up to hover. You're going to lower it down, and then you're going to lower the hips. Nice and slow, lift hips up, lift the leg up, lower the leg down, and rest the hips. Your eyes can either be looking straight ahead or they can be looking down at your left elbow, but continue to work here at your own pace. Now, if that full expression isn't comfortable, you can always bring that hand back down and still add the lift of the leg. If you're all the way down on the floor, we're starting with just that lift of the leg here. Now, wherever you are, you're still coming up, whether it's just with the leg or with everything up and everything down. One more time, if you're lifting all the way up, we hold. Look down at your left elbow. Really push left leg down into the floor for 5, 4. Open up the hips for 3, 2, and 1. Bring it all the way down to the bottom. Now we're going to switch to the other side so that the right hip is the one that's down to the floor now. Left hip is up on top. Now, if right shoulder is comfortable, this is where you're at. If it's not comfortable, you get your pillow and lie down, or you've got your stack. Wherever you are, extend your left leg all the way out straight. And we're just going to be lifting the leg up and lowering down. Now, even if you're lying down on your side like I am, I want you to make sure that you're staying active through this bottom side. So as you lift your leg, you're not lifting too high that your ribs fall down. Rather, you're only lifting up as much as you can keep everything stacked, everything lifted away from the floor, not sinking into the ribs. Now you can always stay down resting, or we're up with that elbow directly under your shoulder. Wherever you are, we're going to be lifting this leg to hold. Once it's holding, point and flex that ankle. Deep breaths as that burn starts to set in. And as you point and flex the ankle, we're going to start to drag that leg back 2 or 3 inches behind us and take that left hand onto the floor in front of you. Reach that left leg away as far as you can. And when you're ready, point the toe and hold. You're stretching the body as long as possible, and you're pulsing the leg up. Lift, lift. Try to straighten it as much as you can. Lift for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Rest. Whew. Wiggle out whatever needs to be wiggled. Ooh, sunshine. Sunshine just broke right through the clouds. That's a lovely way to start to finish this side series. All right, push into that elbow. When you're ready, push into both hands, push into the knees, lift up through those hips, and lower down. Now, from this beginning movement, you should feel that those obliques, specifically that right side here, is getting activated. You are pushing into the floor, lifting up as high as you can, and bringing it back down. Keep it going. Now remember, you can always keep that left hand down on the floor, or left hand comes to the hips, and you're finding that same kind of active lift, pushing into the arm and legs, floating hips up and down. Now remember that idea of deflating the abdominal muscles on the exhale. Every time that you exhale, you lift up, you blow out, and you try and tighten and engage the entire front of the body. Imagine being saran wrapped and having to pull everything into your midsection. Let's add in with that top leg when you're ready. So you lift up and you hold. Top leg lifts up and holds. Bring it down and both hips down. Now, as you work here, you can always place that left hand back down to the floor if it provides you a little bit more support. Knowing that we are taking the hips down super slow, lifting up with control, constant pressure running down into the floor to help maintain that. You're thinking open through the hips. If the arm is on the hips, open the chest as well. If you want a little bit more flavor, reach that left arm up to the ceiling. And we've got our hold coming in next. Your next lift up, you're frozen. As you hold here, you open the hips, you push the floor away from you, breathing for 4, pushing right leg heavy for 3, 2, and 1. Rest it all the way down. Whew. Good job there. We're going to be turning onto our stomach now. So if you need any water, grab some water, turn onto your tummy. Once you are on your stomach here, you've got elbows tucked into your sides today, palms down to the floor. Let's rest your right ear down to the mat for a moment. Relax your neck. Lengthen out the back of your neck by tucking your chin slightly in towards your throat and stretching the back of your head up and away. And then relax. So notice right now, your legs are going to start to push down heavily into the floor for me, from your hips all the way through your toes. And you're going to keep gentle pressure this whole time. Inhale, lift up. Let's face the other way. You've got left ear coming down to the mat. Lengthening out the back of the neck here, a slight tilt of your chin to your heart. And relax and breathe. When you're ready, start to engage the legs. Lift up into the center. And now at this point, we're going to be keeping our chest elevated up and away from the floor. Your nose as well is going to be staying up. So even though you're looking down a few inches in front of your face, you're keeping your chest at that same starting height, floating away from the floor. Legs are pressing down slightly into the floor as well, and just breathing deeply here. Notice your shoulders pulling away from your ears. and feel how your core is connecting. Everything in your body is working to help lift your head and your neck off of the ground. Feel that deep sensation connecting through the midline. Fill up the belly here. Noticing a little bit of rigidity in the stomach. If someone were to try to punch you in the belly right now, you would feel like you have a shield of braced muscle. And when you're ready, we're going to be lifting your right hand up and off of the floor and then resting it down. Left arm lifted up to hover and then rest it. As you do this, try to keep your spine nice and stable. Feel your breath flow, moving through the back of the body. The shoulder blades lift the arm. The shoulder blade muscles lift the arm up and away from the floor, from all around the shoulder blade. Your breath is deep. Your core feels strong. Legs are heavy as they can be. If this feels completely comfortable and easy, lift both hands at the same time. I'm going to stay lifting one and one because I'm listening to my body this morning. And when you're ready, let's rest all the way down, just how we started, right ear down to the mat. Arms either straight out at a T or down by your hips. Take a few deep breaths. Bend the knees. Gently sway the legs from side to side. Lift up through the head. Gently turn to face the other direction. Left ear to the floor. And same thing, gently turn those legs from side to side. Windshield wipe the legs. And when you're ready, coming to the center, your arms are going to stay either out to your sides or they're going to come down by your hips. But I want you to flex your feet. Feel your pubic bone start to push down into the floor a little bit to lengthen out your lower back and to stretch out the front of the hips. Now with that, you might feel your glutes already start to engage and warmth up through the back of the legs. Squeeze those heels tight. So now we've got inner thigh action as well. And bring your head to the center if it isn't already there. So your hands are either out to your sides or down by your hips, but your heels are squeezing together. Keep that squeeze of the heels. Full breath in. With a stable upper body, lift those legs a half inch up and let them come down. Squeezing those lower glutes as much as you can. Try to pry the thighs off of the mat and then lower them down. Press into the ground. It feels like it's a lot harder than it should be, and the legs move a lot less than they seem like they should. Enjoy that deep engagement and that small movement. Your neck is long. Your chest stays slightly lifted from the floor, just slightly. And last one, press up, hold, squeezing those glutes, feeling your body, taking in deep breaths as you push your pubic bone into the floor a little more, and then rest everything all the way down. We're coming into a child's pose, so use your hands to press up, pushing your hips back to your heels. And once you have your hips by your heels, then reach your hands straight forward. Deep breaths here in that child's pose. softening through the chest, maybe wiggling the hips a little from side to side. When you're ready, building the body up, finding yourself in an all fours position with your hands right under your hips, hands right under your shoulders, knees right under your hips. And from here, find a little side to side movement, a side to side cat cow, as if you're looking over a shoulder or to the side of a shoulder and trying to peek at your legs back behind you. Connect again with your deep breaths here. Come back to center. From here, we're going to find a toe tuck. Tuck those toes and sit back onto your feet a little bit, finding a toe stretch. If this isn't comfortable, feel free to just untuck the toes. We're also going to take it into a wrist stretch here. So you're going to turn your fingertips out towards the sides of the room and just rock a little bit from left to right. If that's comfortable, turn a little further so your fingertips are pointing towards your thighs and your thumbs are pointing out towards the sides of the room. Be gentle with this movement. If this pulls your butt forward off of your heels, allow it to. And just walk a little forward, a little back, and maybe a little bit side to side. Coming back to center, you're going to untuck your toes, roll out your wrists for a moment, sit crisscross if you can comfortably. If not, find a chair, and then grab your right foot and just give it a little bit of a love, a little bit of attention, a foot massage, wiggle your toes. Just remember that there's a bunch of joints in your foot, and when they're more mobile, they absorb shock a little better, making your walk a little smoother, a little softer. So just giving a little love to your foot, from toes to ball of the foot to arch of the foot and to your heels, and then up your calf above the ankle, just squeezing. Remember, there's no wrong answer. And then we will switch feet. Foot number 2, left foot or right foot if you started on the other side. And again, just finding whatever your foot needs. A little bit of movement. Maybe you pop your toes. Maybe you just wiggle your toes. Some deep compressions with your palm might feel good on the arch. Or just pressing into your foot like you're pushing little buttons, searching for little sweet spots. Giving love from the toes to the ball of the foot, to the arch of the foot, to the heel, up above the ankle, just massaging the calf a little bit. And then taking a few intentional breaths for a moment, seated, whether it's in a chair or on the ground. Relax. A big deep inhale in. Exhale, sigh, a big sigh of relief. Relax your shoulders. Inhale, inflate. Exhale, stay tall but soften. 2 more breaths. Big inhale. Feeling your body get taller, ears right over sit bones. exhale, soften, but stay tall. One more time, pushing the sit bones down into the floor, lengthen up a little bit more with the crown of the head. Big inhale. Stay tall, but soften. Slowly open your eyes if they were closed. Roll out the shoulders, both of them rolling back. Keep rolling back, but roll one and then the other. And roll one forward and then the other. Roll them both forward. Thank you so much for coming to join me today. It was great to get to have you. I hope you enjoyed our movement together. Well done, and I will see you in our next video. Take care.